the day Mahindra closed, I think Mumbai football also gone down little bit. What goosebumps you feel when you stand for national anthem? When after evening session, we used to come back in our hotel. We used to eat French fries. I would have definitely tell that old Steven, like, follow Sunil Chhetri. Whenever I played for Indian team also, I used to be underweight. I never went above like 53, 54. That was my weight. So if you want to play ISL, you have to give time on the field. And
What's up, people, and welcome back to another video. This is the first part of a Tiki Taka episode that I did with none other than the Indian Beckham, the legend that is Steven Dias, who in his time used to score absolute worldies like this. In this part of the episode, Steven talks about his journey from a small part of Bombay to the Indian national team, what it felt like to represent his country, and how you can make the best use of all the digital platforms to become a better footballer. So make sure you watch until the end of the video. If you're new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You'd be an absolute legend. Tap the bell icon so that you get a notification when I post part 2 of this episode. Comment down below what you think is the best part of this video, and like the video and share it to anyone who you think would benefit from watching this video. Also, don't forget to follow Steven on his Instagram. The link will be in the description.
Welcome to Tiki Taka, the series where you tell the world your story. We have different sections, and each section is titled something football related. So the first section is called Back Pass. In this section, we take it back to how it all started for you. So that is my first question to you. How did it all begin for Steven Dias?
first of all, thank you, Leo, for inviting me. Where I stay in Bombay, I stay just next to Don Bosco Kurla. So that's how I started. I mean, when I started, the condition, and not everyone for that time used to follow football. Because I stay just close to Don Bosco, and Don Bosco is all about. I mean, if you come here, people they know only about football. In childhood, I used to play cricket, but not like I never thought like I'll go into a profession or something like that. Because there used to be a brother Frank Braganza, so he taught us like what is football. He used to like football, so he taught us football, how to pass, and what is football. And because of you, I'm telling you, there are so many people and players, they got job. That time, nobody used to think about playing professionally. Everybody used to play football because in future, you will get job like in customs or in police or in railways. So for that, they used to play football. And even I never thought like when I start playing football, I never thought like you get money also to play football. I started football just for like it's my passion. I used to love playing football. I was not that good in studies, so there's one thing, only one thing I know is football. And I thank God, like my brothers, they used to play football, so I got support because I know there are so many friend of mine. When I started playing football, they were very good footballers, better than me. But because they never got a family support, some friend of mine, they joined call center, some joined railways. How I came to know about this profession. So where we practiced in Don Bosco, Air India team used to come there and practice, and that's how I know like there are league and what is professional football. So Air India coach Bimal Ghosh used to come in the evening. So after that training, we used to train like just local go there and play. So you have that thing like when you come to know he's a professional coach and all. And I was a kid, so we all kid trying to impress that coach. I don't know. He saw that and he said like I'm not calling you in my team, but you can come and practice with us. So he actually told me like what is professional football. Nice to go. So when you practice with better players, no, then you come to know what is your strength and what is your weakness, and then you start. So he told me you would be ready to do hard work, and I will help you. So that's how I started practicing with the Air India team. So one day he told us like how long you will practice with us. If you don't play a match, there is no use keep practicing and all. So he sent us for trial for Central Bank. So there I played for 1 year, and then we were playing Interbank in Kerala. We reached final. So Union Bank coach, he saw me and then he said, come and play with us. So Central Bank, 1 year I played for Central Bank, 1 year I played in Union Bank. Then again I went to Air India for trial, and that's where I got selected for Air India. Then for 2 years I played for Air India. Then I got offer from Mahindra. I played Mahindra for 9 years, and then rest, like.
Wow, that's an amazing journey. So, just to give us a brief run through, after Mahindra, which were the clubs you played for?
So Mahindra got closed down in 2010. Mahindra was like proper professional club that time. Like they had their own training field, gym center. I can say like as the only club who got all these facilities that time. Even East Bengal, Mohan Bagan, they didn't had. I really wanted to play like more years in Mahindras, but I don't know the reason why they closed down. It was like very sad for Mumbai football. The day Mahindra closed down, I think Mumbai football also gone down little bit. Then I joined Churchill Brothers, played 2.5 years. Then joined. They used to a club called Mumbai Tigers. Like it was new club, but unfortunately they didn't play in I League. Like we had really good team under Mr. Bimal Ghosh, but then I don't know what's the reason they didn't wanted to play I League. I think that was sad personally for me also. Like I didn't play I League that year. Then I went on loan for Rangdajid United in Shillong. From there, then Bharat FC came, new club, again new club in Pune. I joined Bharat FC. From Bharat FC, then I joined Mumbai FC. In between, I played ISL for Delhi Dynamos. After Mumbai FC, I am into professional coaching. So I got A license now.
Wow, football has taken you all over India, I see.
Yeah. It was a very good journey.
Okay, so my next question to you is, can you describe how it felt to play for your country?
I mean, I can't, in words, it's very difficult to tell. Like when I got selected first time in 2003-4 under Stephen Constantine. That was the last name which he announced. Like, he already announced, I think, 24 name. It was 25 squad. And he played little prank on me. And after that prank, I mean, he announced that name. I really couldn't believe, I mean, that was like my dream. So the players whom I used to see on TV like Baichung Bhutia and all this Climax Lawrence, Mesh Gauli, then Surkumar Singh, and all this Sandeep Nandi goalkeeper. I mean, I used to admire them on TV, and suddenly I'm in front of them, and one of them is my room partner. I couldn't believe, it's like amazing feeling.
All right. And how much pressure comes with playing for your country?
It's pride, not like pressure. I never felt pressure because till that time I used to playing matches and all. Like each and every match I played for Mahindra, and every match, so I know that pressure and all. But yes, I can say it's pride. Playing for your country is like different feeling. But yeah, I used to be nervous before match and all. But I think that's a good sign. If you get nervous, I think that's a good sign that you're ready for the match. When I stand for that national anthem, trust me, I think only people who played for country, they will understand what goosebumps you feel when you stand for national anthem, when you sing that national anthem. It is like amazing feeling. I never had that feeling anywhere else.
All right. Okay. So if you could go back in time and tell younger Stephen Dias something, what is the one thing you would tell him?
Most important thing I will tell that Stephen Dias, because I didn't had any idea about the diet part, because we used to eat. I'm talking about Indian team only. If I go back and if I'll tell you 2004-5, after evening session, we used to come back in our hotel. We used to eat French fries, and I mean, we never had any idea about diet. I think that's a very important part. Sunil Chetri, he followed very nicely, and you can see he's still playing. See, hard work, everyone does hard work. I mean, I'm sure how much Sunil Chetri did hard work, same way I did, same way like other people. But why he's playing now, he's very focused. I can't tell you how focused. He was my room partner, maybe 7-8 years. But every day, whenever he used to come back in a room, he will go and, in Google, he will search about the diet part, or he will do little extra training. So I will tell that Steven, if I would have been under Sunil Chetri, because he's my age, I didn't follow him because we are same age. So, what to learn from him. But I wish he would have been my senior that time. I would have followed him. Trust me, he's very focused. He knows what to do. He knows what to eat. He knows how much to sleep. I would have definitely followed. So I would have definitely tell that old Steven, follow Sunil Chetri.
All right. That's a very interesting answer. Okay, with that, we finish the first section, back pass, and we move into the next section that I call remontada, because it's all about mental health in football and challenges you face. In all the previous episodes that I have done, all of them agree that mental health is really important in football. So, do you also agree with this? And why do you think it's important?
100%. I definitely agree with this because I have seen players in practice, they are like amazing. Like, if you see them in the practice, you will feel like, why this player is not playing in Europe, or why this player is not playing in first 11, and why this player is not one of the best Indian players. But when they come into match, they can't handle that pressure. I don't know why. Maybe they get too nervous. So this part is very important. I mean, mental strength is very important. Player have to learn how to take pressure, how to get ready for the match and all. Like, one match I'll tell you, we were playing a Federation Cup final against Mohammedan Sporting, Mahindra versus Mohammedan Sporting. It was like maybe 1,10,000 crowd in that Salt Lake Stadium, and I'm telling you that pressure is like amazing. I mean, in the ground when you uh, talk to your teammate, he can't hear what you're saying. It was that crowded, and like that pressure is completely different. So mental strength is very important. I mean, everybody should. I mean, now there are so many therapies also, but that time we didn't had that. We have to like focus from morning what we do. Like some people they get ready listening music. How I used to get ready, I used to make fun of like with players and all. That's how I used to get prepared for the match.
All right. Okay, that leads me on well to my next question. Personally, for you, what were the biggest challenges you faced in your career, and how did you deal with that?
Biggest challenges, like initial in my career, it was like no coaches used to give me chance. They are like, if anybody tackles you, and then later on I never felt like any challenge once I start playing matches, training. So I never felt any challenges. Yeah, that was the only challenge which I felt initial my career. Like coaches, they never supported me. I mean, I understand what they're trying to say. Even if I would have been their places, I understand. Like, I feel scared. Like I was very thin. Whenever I played for Indian team also, I used to be underweight. I never went above like 53, 54. That was my weight. And everybody used to complain like, eat this, eat that. Maybe because of that, I thought about diet part. Like, I was always underweight.
All right. Okay. So, with regard to mental challenges, how do you deal with them even now?
Mental challenges. I mean, I never felt like, I have any I mean, when you have like not so good performance, I try to forget as soon as possible because every players have to go through that phase. I mean, Messi, Ronaldo, they can't perform each and every match. Sometimes, you lose bit focus, or maybe that's not your day or something else. So whenever I have this kind of performance, I try to forget as soon as possible because if I keep thinking about that, then future matches also I will spoil. I know that. The moment the match finish and when we go for the next training session, I forget that performance and my focus is like, I had bad performance. Somehow I have to improve my performance. So yeah, that's how I used to prepare.
All right. That's very insightful and very good advice. Okay. With that, we finish the second section of remontada, and we move to the next section that I call halftime tactics. We switch up the topic a little bit to talk about the other side of football. Since you played in the transition period of Indian football, what do you think about the digital side of football for players and coaches?
There are so many good parts. Like, I mean, coaches' education came. Like now, every coach is like they have to go through like licensing. So you have to take knowledge about the football and all. Before it wasn't there. Now Instagram is there, YouTube is there, Facebook is there. I mean, you can get knowledge from everywhere. Like, as a coach, if you ask me, like, I mean, you have so many places where you can go and take education. So yeah, that one part is like education in modern football. Like there are so many things now. Video sessions during that time, hardly any team used to have video session before match. Now so many good changes happen now. I mean, you can read your opponent. So
My next question is, what effect do you think social media has on younger players?
there are good also and there are bad also. I mean, during my time, like I seen players like, after training session also they used to wait on the ground and do little extra training they know what they are lacking and what they have to improve. Nobody is in hurry to go in hotel and watch TV or do something. Like everybody wants to wait for after training session, do little extra what they lacking. But right now I see like the moment training session is over, you don't see anybody on the ground. Everybody is on Instagram, and I think that is like bad part. But if you see like people who playing ISL and all, they know like what to do. I'm talking about players who's like they want to become a professional player, but they don't want to sacrifice. The people who knows they're playing ISL. So if you want to play ISL, you have to give time on the field and not on Instagram and Facebook. So there is time for everything. I mean, whole day you have, so you can do it like during those days. So when you train, concentrate on train, give time for yourself. If you really want to play ISL, you have to sacrifice it.
All right. So with that good advice, we end the halftime tactics session and we move into the next section that I call recovering possession.
That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something of value from that. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get a notification when I post the second part of this episode. In the meantime, you can check out the previous episodes of Tiki Taka that I have done with the other professionals.